Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Randy's Wellness TV here on torontotv.org. I'm your host, Randy Rowett. Another great show lined up today, and with me is Bev Callahan, and Bev is a registered dietitian. Hello, Bev.
Hello.
Hi, nice to have you with us here today.
It's nice to be here.
And a recent study was done focusing on the benefits of using diet to control LDL, or lower your negative cholesterol levels. Now, how is that done?
How was that done?
That's right.
It was a study that was conducted at the University of Toronto, and it was
Yes.
a study whereby a group of participants were able to shop and choose and prepare their own foods based on the portfolio eating plan, and it showed that there were significant improvements in LDL, or bad cholesterol, when they followed this portfolio eating plan for a period of 12 months.
Now, there's two types of cholesterol, as we know. There's the LDL, or the negative cholesterol, the bad cholesterol that people have, and then there's the HDL, which is the more positive,
The good stuff.
the good stuff.
The good stuff, yes.
Which we all
Yes.
need.
Yes. Well, the important thing is, the notice here is that the study lowered what it did was it lowered the bad cholesterol, which was important.
Right. Now, you're a registered dietitian.
I am.
And how long have you been doing that for?
Too many years to count, but let me think, I graduated in 1980, so that takes me 26 years.
And you're still young.
So far, so good, yes.
Yes. And where did you study?
I studied at University of Western Ontario, and
Very
I did
good.
my internship at Victoria Hospital in London, Ontario. And since then, I've been working in a variety of different jobs. I've raised a family of 3 girls, one of which is back at the University of Western Ontario. And I've written a best-selling cookbook called Supper Time Survival with Lynn Roblin, and we're trying to get families to eat better.
Supper Time Survival. Catchy title.
Well,
Very
mealtime madness is tricky at supper time, and what happens?
And with 3 children?
Yes, and Lynn has 4, and so we put our heads together to come up with a cookbook that would get people eating better and on the right track, and so it's really helping, and we're doing very well.
That's terrific. Now, what is the portfolio eating plan?
It is a plan that it's based on everyday common foods that you would find, but the important thing is that it includes 4 important factors in it. One of them is almonds, 30 grams of almonds a day, soy protein, 50 grams a day, and 2 grams of plant sterols, and viscous and soluble fiber, about 20 grams. And this is all part of a healthy, balanced meal plan with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and 2 snacks.
Now, people think of almonds, and they really think unhealthy ways to prepare them. Like, for instance, they may put them in a pie or something like that. But is that really what the study is all about?
The study is about just making almonds easy and quick to eat. And almonds are great. They're portable. You can take them with you, and you can put them in a little container. You can include them in your menus. But the important thing is that a handful a day is a great snack, or it can be part of a meal.
Almonds, like, for instance, people will go to the grocery store and they'll pick up all these snacks, and they won't be that healthy. It'll be high sugar content, high cholesterol, high calories. But almonds, it's a natural food. It's very healthy to begin with.
It is, absolutely.
Yes. So the portfolio eating plan, it encompasses everything we mentioned, all those other foods. Now, how does soy fit in there?
Soy fits in there because it is a protein source.
Right.
And it's the combination of these different foods that has, lowered the bad cholesterol. So that's the important thing to remember. It's the combination of foods. But also, too, lean meats and lean proteins can also be included, as well as the vegetable proteins. And it showed that still had very positive results as well.
Now, lean meats and proteins, how many times do people eat the wrong types high in fat meats, for instance? And that's not a good thing. They should be concentrating more on lean meats.
Absolutely. Lean is key. Trimming absolutely all the visible fat. And then if you can see the fat in the meat, or see it in whatever else you're eating, you can tell that it's higher in saturated fat. So you're trying to get away from the saturated fat, because meat has saturated fat. That's the kind of fat.
It does.
That is
Animal
in
fats, right?
Animal fats. Any animal fats are saturated fat. If it's solid at room temperature, it's saturated fat.
I have a funny story about fats. I had this friend, and he loved fat. He would eat fat all the time, the saturated fats. And he used to have a little plastic container of fat. And what do? He'd fry up his bacon and eggs on the weekend. And where do you think all that fat went into? It went into this little container. And then he'd leave it out, and it would get all rancid. And next thing you know, he'd be cooking with it again, and there'd be smoke all over the house and things like that.
I think there's much more awareness of avoiding saturated
Absolutely.
fats.
There is now. Yeah.
And including more polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats in the diet. And almonds are a nut, and they have monounsaturated fats and omega-3 fats, which are the heart-healthy fats, which will lower your bad cholesterol.
You're right. There is more of an awareness now on omega-3s, especially, and essential fatty acids. in the
Exactly.
diet, and where to get those.
Where to get them, exactly. And I think it's just about having a healthy diet and choosing a healthier diet. We all know having more fruits and vegetables is healthy. Lean protein is healthy. Increasing more soy protein or vegetable-based protein in your diet is a wise choice to make as well. And of course, you've got your you have your milk products, which are part of a healthy diet, though the milk products are not part of the portfolio eating plan.
Right.
And then you also have your grain products, your whole grains, and your grains is where you get a lot of your fiber. And it's important to have your viscous and soluble fiber. Soluble and viscous fiber comes from your sources like your barley and your oatmeal. So that bowl of oatmeal in the morning is a good start to your day. And chop up some almonds, 2 tablespoons of almonds on top, and you're following the portfolio eating plan and also a healthy eating plan.
Now, I love to have oatmeal in the morning, especially on
Yeah.
those cold winter mornings, and it's really not only, I'm aware of it lowering cholesterol,
Yes.
but I'm also aware of the good taste and the wonderful things you can do with oatmeal, the fruit, the nuts, all those type of things.
In
Yeah.
Summertime Survival, we have a mixture whereby you have oats and you have flaxseed, and then we put in chopped nuts. And I do a combination of I do the walnuts and any other nuts that I would like. But now, because I'm well aware of the positive health benefits, I have switched my nut, and now I'm into chopped almonds.
Terrific. And there's lots of places to get them at the corner grocery and
Yeah.
everything.
Again, you want to have them in their raw state.
Right.
I mean, roasted is great. You want to make sure you're not having them with a lot of salt on them because
Mhm.
it's good to be limiting the amount of salt. We have way too much sodium in our diet today, absolutely. So you want the roasted plain, dry roasted, or even the plain.
So what are some of the other benefits of eating the almonds?
Oh, the other benefits of eating the almond, they're a source of fiber.
Right.
They're a source of, they're cholesterol reducing. They deliver great eating enjoyment. They're crunchy, versatile, and it's just something that's just easy to pick up. It's a handy snack.
Very handy. And how many times do you see people they'll go to an outing or a sporting event and they'll grab something unhealthy, something that looks very high in fat?
Yeah.
Why not take a bag of almonds or whatever they may have? And they even sell them at some of the concessions at these places now.
It's a great
So-
mid-afternoon snack.
Yeah.
I find between
Energy.
lunch and dinner,
Yeah.
what I carry around and what I have in the afternoon is I have a little handful of almonds with some dried raisins.
Terrific.
And
Raisins are very
I get
good.
that little sort of sweet hit that I like because I have a bit of a sweet, I like a little bit of sweet with the nuts. And it's perfect, so you have the balance. And it's 23 almonds a day, which is really not a lot. And if you
No, it
have,
isn't.
that's like 2 little snacks in the
Mhm.
morning. And what they found on the portfolio eating plan was people were most compliant with having the almonds because it was the easiest thing to make the change in their diet.
Now, is that a minimum 23 a day, or can they exceed that to a
That's-
certain level?
You could exceed it, but again, more is not necessarily better, but the requirement is 1 ounce a day, which is 23 almonds or like a small handful. And you can
Okay.
have 2 tablespoons of almond butter or, chopped nuts as
Almond
well.
butter?
Almond butter, fine.
Okay.
Certainly spread on a piece of whole grain toast would be great.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because
Or nuts in a salad is great.
Terrific.
Steamed
Yeah.
green beans with toasted almonds is a wonderful choice to have with that
It's
supper
very
meal.
much a creative thing to how you cook with it.
It is.
Yeah,
it
like a
is.
nice stir fry. You can just
Stir
put it in.
fry, put
Yeah,
them on
yeah.
top. It's a wonderful thing to do, yeah.
That's great. And I know we talked a little bit about soy, and we talked about some of the other fiber things out there. What about some of the other options?
In the
other
portfolio
than
eating,
almonds?
other
Yes.
than almonds? Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Aside from the almonds, other heart-healthy foods include plant sterols, soy protein from, say, tofu and other soy-based proteins, soy beverages, the soy milk in the
Lots of
grocery
soy
store-
beverages out there in
the
different
store.
varieties and even flavors.
Yeah, exactly. And also they are, you want to try and find calcium fortified to get the calcium, and especially on the portfolio eating plan to have the calcium fortified soy milk would be a benefit as well to get the calcium into the
So
diet.
check the labels. It should
Check the
say
labels,
fortified
yeah.
A&D and calcium.
Yeah,
on
and
there.
then of course you want your viscous fibers from your oatmeal and your barley and certain fruits and vegetables.
Excellent. Now, a lot of people out there, viewers, may not know what plant sterols are. Could you explain that?
It's a little more plant sterols. Like it's hard to go out and say I want.
Right.
Where do I get my plant sterols? Where's the aisle for the plant sterols? Usually, you would find those in a margarine.
Right. Oh, yes.
And you just read the label on your margarine, and you want there's different brands
different brands,
that
I'm thinking about
contain the
that.
plant sterols.
Yes.
But that's mainly from the margins is where you would get the plant sterols from.
And some of them even advertise plant sterols on there now.
Exactly.
Yes.
Especially if you've got them included in your product, and since there's more of an awareness toward it, generally you'd see it prominently on the label.
Okay, so we've got our diet. We've got our almonds. We've got our plant sterols, our soy, and all those things. We know that they're good foods, but what actually makes them heart healthy?
It's what's inside them. It's the combination of the foods together that work together. If we could figure out exactly what it was that did it, it would be a wonderful breakthrough. It is the combination of these foods together as part of a healthy diet that seems to work very well in lowering the cholesterol.
And that's a very important thing, because people outside the workplace are, they're busy, they don't eat properly, they may grab a snack somewhere, and they may not even be aware of their cholesterol levels. They may not be aware of the high calorie intake and all those things, and their high LDL values. So what can they do?
Well, first of all, to go back to your first question,
Right,
I mean, there's the fiber in the almonds and in your soy proteins. There's the fiber mostly in the almonds, and your soy protein is giving you it's giving your vegetable protein, which is important. But it's the vitamin A, it's the vitamin E, I'm sorry, not vitamin A, it's the vitamin E.
Yes.
That is very important, and it's also the omega fats, which are the ingredients that are really helping to lower the bad cholesterol.
And that's another thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's wintertime. I'm going to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and because I want to have more vitamin C." But a lot of times people neglect vitamin E and the benefits of that.
Absolutely. I mean, how beneficial vitamin E is has sort of been a very controversial thing, but it certainly isn't going to harm you. I don't hear of any overdoses of, say, vitamin E. But again, you got to be really careful. If you're having vitamin E as part of a normal daily diet, you're generally not going to get into any problems. You don't want to get into supplementation, because again, with supplementation, you're taking like an artificial, like an amount. But if you're eating healthy foods as part of a healthy diet, it's hard to get too much of something.
So healthy foods first, and then supplementation as required.
Supplement as required and as done by your doctor.
That's right, and that's an important thing.
Because you don't want to get into following and being sort of deciding for yourself, oh, I'm low in this and I've read an article about this.
Right.
You know what, it's important. Perhaps a multivitamin, if recommended by your doctor, would be beneficial, but these single nutrient supplements, you can get into problems with them.
So we're talking about all these wonderful things, diet, almonds, and a variety of delicious things also. But we're getting to the point now with this study and other things where we think, well, why is a doctor prescribing so much medication? Should a doctor prescribe a healthy grocery list as opposed to good medication?
Well, this is what this study is proving. It's showing that, yes, you can indeed follow this portfolio eating plan, and it has been shown, the results are very encouraging, that it will reduce the bad LDL cholesterol. However, if you do have high cholesterol and your doctor has prescribed you a statin medication, by all means you should follow your doctor's recommendation and take the medication. But to certainly follow the portfolio eating plan and include more almonds in your diet, more soy protein, more fruits and vegetables, it's certainly not going to be harmful to you. As a matter of fact, it will be beneficial to you.
Yes, always follow your doctor's orders, and I'm sure that your physician will immediately direct you towards healthy foods anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, a healthy diet is the basis for everything. We are what we eat, and I think it's bad habits and too much of the wrong foods and too much food and obesity that is leading to the increased risk of heart attacks and heart disease in all countries.
Now, I know this person, and he likes lots of meat. He likes lots of meat, and he likes the fattier fishes. He doesn't like the really lean, he likes the fatty meats.
The fattier fishes are the healthier fish, like your salmon and your mackerel and your sardines. Yes, those are your heart healthy fish, absolutely. And they're considered the fatty fish with the omega-3s. But again, your lean meats, it's very important.
And that's what I was emphasizing to the person. Yes, it's good to eat the fattier fishes, the cold water fish.
But not the fattier meats.
But not the fattier meats, because nice big pork hocks and things like that, not very healthy. But it's moderation, right?
It's everything in moderation, and it's portion size.
Right.
Even though salmon is very healthy, and it's got rich in heart healthy nutrients, you do not need to eat a huge portion. A portion like a
maybe
3
6
to 4
ounces.
6 ounces is even a large portion.
Yes,
I would say 4 ounces of cooked is good.
And you can tell how it's
the
cut.
The size of a deck of cards is a good indicator of what a proper portion of lean meat or protein should be. And for tofu, you have your tofu, your soy burgers, your boca burgers, different things.
And there's some excellent ones out there.
Oh, absolutely. Food companies are getting better and better at making better and better products, which are more appealing and more pleasing to the consumers.
And
we have more choice.
Yeah, I enjoy meat, but I love fish, but I also sometimes like to not have either, and I have soy. I have some soy, make a nice stir fry, and I find that very enjoyable.
Absolutely. And soy like tofu, firm tofu in a stir fry, it will pick up the flavors of what you're cooking with. So if you like, spicier flavored things and the soy sauce and the hoisin, whatever you're using, that's just going to, add to the flavor of the tofu for sure.
So what if somebody wants to eat, let's say, an alternative type of thing, like maybe barley?
Well, barley is a grain. It's a whole grain. It's
Right.
from the grain products group, and I mean, again, it falls into the category of psyllium or your viscous fibers. So this is great. It's wonderful as part of a salad, like a barley salad.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd cook the barley and you'd cool it, and then you toss it with chopped vegetables and a lower fat vinaigrette dressing, and you have a salad that can go for lunch. You can stir in some tofu there, some lean chicken, maybe some lean leftover salmon from the night before, and you've got your lunch that goes off to work or school.
And some people I know, they go to their health store and they get psyllium husks or psyllium seeds, and they
Okay.
try and incorporate them into their cereals that way. And I think that's an interesting thing to do.
Well, you know what? Adding little things into
Yeah.
the important thing is to keep your diet interesting.
I do
and
that
keep
with
and keep
flax.
it varied. And flax,
I
of
do that with
course,
flax,
it's
yeah.
important to
Yeah.
do that. And trying new things is always, a good way to go.
Right. So the portfolio plan, the
Eating
portfolio
plan, yeah.
eating plan is really something new, per se,
Uh-huh.
but the idea, the concept of eating healthy is not. So,
I couldn't have said it better myself.
right. And it's an important topic, and certainly one that we all should be aware of, and especially in our times where there's too much unhealthy obesity in our environment in
And it's
in
obesity
North
that
America.
can lead to heart disease.
That's right.
And obesity can lead to diabetes, which can lead to heart disease. So it all works together. And again, the statistics are staggering as the increase in obesity over the past 20 years, not only in adults but in children.
It's like 1 in 4 now children or something, isn't it?
The results are very, very staggering,
Yes, it's
because there's many different factors, and I think that the most important ones are inactivity and supersize me, more is better.
Yes.
So again,
Fried foods.
Well, fried foods,
Yeah.
fast foods, eating away from
Yeah.
home. Families that eat at home eat better. Families that eat together eat better. Eating habits in children are established between the ages of 3 and 8. So parents are the role models. It's important for us.
It's learned behavior.
It's learned behavior, and if children, and we are the gatekeepers as to what kind of food comes into the home. So it's important for us to teach our children what are the healthy foods. And everything in moderation, like treats are fine in moderation, because that's part of that's what makes life enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we have to teach our children, and we have to show them, and we have to eat together as a family. But the big portion distortion is one of the big things that Lynn and I deal with in supper time survival. Because again, remember the big plate of 8-ounce steak? I mean, that now you slice it into a stir fry, it can feed a family of 4.
That's the thing.
And
Yes,
it's
right.
lean and it's good, and that's
Yeah.
what we should be doing. And it's moderation, and more is not better. And children need to learn to be hungry and listen to their hunger cues as opposed to eating for the wrong reasons.
And you raised an interesting point, and that was that people are not spending time eating together. They're not actually protecting each other by helping each other along with what the right foods
exactly.
are. If you're not
Yeah.
sitting with somebody, you're not going to care what you're eating. If you're sitting with somebody as a family, you're going to care. You're all eating healthy, and you're all eating at the same time, and you're all eating the proper portions
And
and the
hopefully
right
you've
foods.
helped put the meal together as a family, and you clean
Yeah,
up together,
yes.
and that's all. Those are life skills that are important. I'm not sure children are learning how to cook,
Mhm.
the way they should, and they're thinking that meals come out of a box as opposed to
Yeah, they
something
think
that
they
we
grow
can
them in the
make.
grocery store, the vegetables.
Well, and there's a lot of
That's right, yes.
prepackaged foods out there that can be part of a healthy diet. For example, there's nothing when you don't need to have to wash lettuce. It comes prepared in a bag, which is great. You've got your bagged lettuces. You've got your cut up fruits and vegetables. There are so many choices of different grains and whole grains out there, and lean meat and fish and poultry. It's all available there. But portion control. We need to teach our children what is the proper portion.
No seconds, no thirds.
No, well,
Yeah.
unless you're hungry. Like
Yeah.
if I have a daughter who's very, very active in sports, and if she comes home from a very active soccer game, and she says, geez, I'm really hungry, like I'm going to give her a sandwich.
That's a person who's very active.
Because she's active,
Right.
exactly. If you're hungry because you're active and you've been burning it off, well then of course you would eat more. So again, that's the balance that you have to, but the amount is important. You don't want to overload.
So you're a registered dietitian. So
Yes.
how about giving us a sample now, if you don't mind? Maybe we'll start off with breakfast. Giving us a sample what a good breakfast might be.
What a healthy breakfast
Yes.
would be?
Yes.
It's first of all, eat breakfast.
Right.
People who eat
Too many
breakfast.
people forget that,
Too many people forget
and they
that.
binge later.
Well, and
in the
that's what
day.
happens,
Yes.
because then your blood sugar levels go down, and then you get hungry, and then you grab the first thing that's available. It may not be the right thing. So, and then you get off track for the rest of the day. So the important thing is it's called breakfast for a reason. Break the fast.
Right.
So you've got to start your day off. It's important to include some protein with your breakfast, some whole grains, which are digested slowly, and a serving from the vegetable and fruit group if you as much as possible. And have a whole orange as opposed to a half, like a glass of juice type.
Sure.
Then you might want a mid-morning snack depending on when you're going to be having your lunch. And again, you want your lunch to include at least 3 of the 4 food groups, and you want to include make sure that you have protein with your lunch.
And of course, mid-morning snack could be an apple, almonds.
Handful of almonds,
That's right,
exactly.
yeah,
It
yes,
could be
exactly.
almonds and raisins or whatever, and your oatmeal could have your almonds on top of it. And then you get into your mealtime at supper, and you would have your lean meat. We should be focusing our meal around the grains and the vegetables, and then having the meat and alternatives as just sort of the smaller amount on the plate. And that's what's important.
I used to have a joke. Some of my friends before didn't know how to eat properly, and I started to coach them along.
Yeah.
But they didn't know how to eat properly. And I used to joke they thought the 4 food groups were boxed, bottled, canned, and jarred. They didn't know. They didn't know what it was. You know.
And then there's the chocolate group, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, the chocolate group.
Yes.
But like you say, everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, and that's the key to continued success with health and diet.
It's the
lowering
key
cholesterol.
with everything. If you start when younger with children, you're not going to develop into obesity. You're going to hopefully avoid some of the diabetes and the overweight, which hopefully you won't have a problem with heart disease, and then hopefully your cholesterol will be at a normal level, and you won't ever have to worry about it.
Right. So, where can we get more information on both the book, which is Supper Time Survival, and also the Portfolio Eating Plan?
Suppertimesurvival.com is our website, and we
Okay.
have sample recipes there, as well as menu plans and tips for healthy eating and feeding your family well. And for more information on the Portfolio Eating Plan, the portfolioeatingplan.com. But again, I just want to caution everyone that it's important to check with your doctor first, and before you would start any type of a change, or before you would do any.
That's very important. We
Yeah,
can't emphasize
yeah,
that enough.
Yeah, please, your doctor knows best. He's following you. He knows you individually. There may be many reasons why your cholesterol is high, or many reasons why you have heart disease. So check with your doctor first. Tell him you're aware of this. And would this be something that could benefit? Would help in my, trying to lower my cholesterol and reduce my heart disease.
And people out there do it every day. They lower their cholesterol, follow the doctor's orders, eat properly, exercise, and live a good life, and they do lower their cholesterol.
Absolutely. And if you can adopt a healthier eating plan, like the Portfolio Eating Plan, and if you do bring your cholesterol level down, you may never require medication to bring it down. It may never require it.
So it's good to try and prevent this. Preventative.
Yeah, for example, I went for my annual physical, and my cholesterol was in just within the normal range, but the high end of the normal range. So I immediately started, making just a few changes, having some almonds, making sure I had all the oatmeal in the morning, and it came down a little bit. It did work. So
That's
there
great.
you go.
Thank you, Bev. Thank you for joining us
Thank you
today.
for having me. It's wonderful.
My guest has been Bev Callahan, a registered dietitian. We've been talking about the benefits of eating healthy, incorporating various food things such as almonds and soy and a variety of other benefits into our bodies. And that's the good thing. Eat well, live healthy, and if you do that, you'll be much happier in the long run. I'm Randy Rowett. Thank you for joining us. You'll see us next time on another edition of Randy's Wellness TV. Bye for now.
We're good?